Hello world of YouTube and welcome to another entry in a series that I'll be continuing intermittently throughout however long I decide to do it on breaking down my favorite feature verses from a particular rapper. And while the last time saw us going to the Midwest and I kind of teased maybe going to New York next, I'm taking another detour down south by taking a look at easily one of the best rappers to pop in the back half of the 2010s. Denzel motherfucking Curry. Dude is an incredibly consistent rapper, both in his album front and in his feature game. And I feel like the dude just continues to one-up himself every single time he's on a collaboration. And while there's some collaborations that are a little less involved from Curry, whether it's sort of just acting as a hype man or providing a hook and not really spinning much of a full verse, this list is more going to look at those full verses that he's contributed to various artists throughout his career. And you'll notice there are a lot of entries from a certain time frame, and a lot more newer entries are on this list. And I feel like it's mostly because, like I said, the guy had a great benchmark he started at, and he just kept improving upon it as the years have gone on, at least as a featured artist. When it comes to records, dude is mad consistent. I mean, he's got some stuff that I like more than others, but Denzel is just a talented rapper. He knows how to channel his energy and adapt it to what a beat needs so very well. And this list is going to talk about the instances at which I think he's done it the best. There's some honorable mentions listed out in the description. Let's go ahead and get started.
Like Stanley yell next, he caps his head red, the fence has come across, lost a man's dead, dyslexic spelled dead.
You know, Rick Ross has hopped on a couple of Denzel Curry cuts throughout his career. He's on Imperial, he's on Zoo, and on Run of the Streets, it feels like Denzel's sort of repaying the favor. Him and Boogie with a Hoodie provide some pretty good features on this song with a beat that doesn't really match a lot of the typical beats Denzel hops on, but I think he fits it very, very well. He comes in with the wordplay like he's always got, running the streets like a runny nose, ain't no love in the streets when you bleeding from a bullet hole, and then he throws in some really good reference game of like Stanley yelling at his cap, his head red, while also throwing in a double entendre of they back on their rampage like Quentin, shipping him off to San Quentin. He also hops off of that double entendre with some just good imagery of ran wicked with some on the block, still sticking on the beam, gentrification, junkies and fiends, working later, so I'm sending a message off to my queen, before spinning out some more sort of reflective, looking towards the future messaging as well. It's a great verse that, again, sort of fits the instrumental, that it's on the very old school style piano-filled instrumental, and I think that it's got some heat to it as well that Denzel typically delivers on, but he spins it into a good atmosphere on Run of the Streets. And again, it feels like a sort of paying back moment. The Twistin feature by Lil Ugly Man, I feel like is a classic Denzel feature. It's the oldest one on this list, and it shows Denzel's early style in full effect. It shows that he's still hungry, shows that he's still growing, showing that he's still learning, while having some good bars still in there. He's good at his storytelling on this song. I feel like it, again, matches the beat that's on here. It feels very in line with a lot of Denzel's earlier Raider Clan days stuff. You know, he calls out some of his influences of 666 and Outkast. You know, obviously he shouts out Carol City. He throws a Captain Planet reference in reference to playing some shrooms. You know, a lot of his 32 Zell vibes, that sort of vibey, spaced out sort of lane that he was channeling in. And I feel like it's a feature that shouldn't be forgotten when looking back at a lot of early Denzel stuff, because I feel like it's got a lot of the characteristics that show up in a lot of really good Denzel features nowadays, just in an earlier genesis. It's really good. It's still young Denzel hungry, but it's got a lot of what made him a name to be remembered even in this early age.
Why the fuck I need a loan for police to leave me alone? Once you making provolone, they think you selling.
Now, if we're talking about cold flow, there's going to be a lot of that when talking about Denzel. One of Denzel's best abilities is his way that he bends his flows and he flips his schemes around to match that flow while having that stacked imagery or that good wordplay or that good reference game. All those elements are what make Denzel a captivating featured artist to me. And while he's collaborated with Guapdad 4000 a couple of times, I feel like on Izayah, not only does he match the energy of Guapdad and everybody else in the cut, but he does that flow flip mastery so fantastically. You know, I love the way this verse opens with the why the fuck I need a loan for police to leave me alone. Once you making provolone, they think you selling from your home. Motherfuck these Marciones. excuse me, I'm not bashing shit, and then he flips it with the I open safes, open sesame, now there ain't no cash in it. Crash the whip like I'm Crash Bandicoot, and then get my Bandicoot. Bro, and then he flips Bandz again. Like, he's just doing this flip wordplay throughout the verse that's so fun and enticing and engaging, and it makes for an entertaining listen. You know, I feel like he just goes off. He pops off on the track. I mean, he pops off throughout this entire list, but he really pops off on Izayah in a really good way. Concluding it with the Banks flipping of Ashley Banks, Carlton Banks, Hillary Banks, robbing a bank, out of your league, out of your rank, wanna be us, but can't. Dude!
My dogs got guns in case there is a issue. Teenage mutant, they letting them shells hit you. We don't like splinter.
You want to talk about good reference play, though? This verse off of Sangira with another Florida rapper, Snot, is fan-fucking-tastic. While the beat's laid back and chill, it's got this flute, Snot's got this laid-back delivery to him. Denzel keeps a little bit of heat in there. He spices it up just a little bit with some incredible reference play and some just, again, that bar spinning. You know, he starts it with a Kel Mitchell reference, like Keenan and Kel, before flipping into a Drake and Josh reference, before flipping into a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reference, that then spins into an 070 Shake reference, that then bleeds into a Kanye reference where he name drops not only I Miss the Old Kanye into a Slow Jams reference. This is just an incredible fucking feature by Denzel that, again, is smooth as the beat itself is. It's fantastic, and again, it's not quite energetic, but it's got enough heat in there to really showcase Denzel's ferocity still in full effect, while just having some great wordplay on top of it.
I get the paper, same color arugula. If it's a battle, I'm crashing your nebula. Angel of death, better known as a messenger. I kill your.
You know, while Denzel's known for getting really intense in pockets, Art of War from Izayah is a good example of Denzel bringing that caliber of heat in a feature.
This is the type of shit that'll make you curb stomp a newborn baby. Art of War sees Denzel coming together with somebody who he matches the energy with really well, Rico Nasty, but this whole verse is about finding a groove, finding a pocket, and riding the pocket till infinity. It's a whirlwind, but it is a great set of bars that have a lot of double entendre play, like flipping the keep the peace like they do up in Canada, going further, talking about guns before talking about getting that paper, talking about how he'll come at you fast, like in this verse. He's like a harbinger of death. You know, he has a Super Saiyan reference in there, talking about how his gun's like, etc. It's a really well-penned verse. If it is penned. He could have freestyled this. I don't know. Dude's freestyle game is also off the charts. But if you want an example of Denzel finding a pocket, finding an intense groove, and just riding it, this Art of War verse is a textbook example of it. Really quality verse from Denzel. Another benchmark verse from Denzel Curry. Another smooth beat that Denzel just demolishes with Dog Food. The most recent feature that's on this list is off of IDK's latest record, and is some really good commentary with some, again, just clever fucking rhyming, some really good word choice, and some poignant commentary he wants to make. You know, even just the opening flurry alone of the block's definition of hot to be a simile, I know the definition of op to be the enemy. I've seen a lot of brothers get popped, we pouring Hennessy, and God forbid them get locked because it ain't 10 to me. Before flipping it with another 10 of Diaz, Buenos Dias, the Senoritas, talking about commentary after that of moving weight. We moving units by the kiosk for fly Adidas, forever eating la comida, a paquita. We're lurking just to catch you lacking like we on cheetahs. Bro, that's so smooth. It's so good. And again, the rhyme flipping is just insanely tight in the pocket. He also goes deeper into the struggle. I think that it's a well-spun message. And it goes to show that even though Denzel's been dishing out heat, he's still got so much gas in the tank. I couldn't see the guy stopping anytime soon. This is another quality verse, and it's easily become an instant favorite of mine.
Nails on Odell with you deals that never ever go well. Take no well, cause I am not Noel. Bitch, the name's Denzel. The flame.
I so badly wanted to put a Denzel Slow Tie track on here, and they did Psycho, which is a collaborative track, and they've hopped on each other's songs and done great stuff. But none of the features they've done together, I felt like, or none of the features Denzel's done for Slow Tie, I felt like meet the caliber of what I've showcased so far on this list. But one collaboration that does meet the caliber that I would love to see the two in the meet is Bruuuh, the GID track. Denzel hopped on the remix, and he actually drops a line at the end that sort of embodies how I feel his chemistry with Slow Tie is. in that it's they're like a Scorpion Sub-Zero relationship, but I would more equate maybe Denzel and Slow Tie to like Ryu and Ken. They both really pair well together, but not quite in the same lane as JID and Denzel. But this track is some heat. He does that flip-flop rhyme bending that he does really well, but it's like a whole barrage across his entire verse. His flow, like, ebbs and flows in intensity in this perfect manner. Especially at the end, it builds to a really good climax when he talks about lusting for blood, grabbing a mag, made you half a man but not a sag, flow was ugly, time to bust a sag, Clint Eastwood, I killed the good and bad. God damn! That's a bar. His whole verse is like, that's a bar. That's a bar. That's also a bar. These bars. It's heat. It's Denzel. It's great flow. It's a pocket that he rides in. And it's a really good pairing, IMO. The beat's really good. That stutter style that JID has, Denzel doesn't quite tap into, but he makes his rhymes hit that same kind of stutter in a really good way that I think is fan-fucking-tastic.
If I see the cop that killed my brother, believe he'll die from the headshot. Beam on a Glock in my Hancock. Hedgehog when I...
You know, Art of War, Denzel bragged really good about how good of a feature artist he is, but he opens up this, what I would say is a classic Denzel feature at this point, Alakazam, with having the game in a headlock before immediately calling out the cop that killed his brother. He get him in the headshot. He's also got a Bill and Ted reference, something that he's referenced a couple of times throughout his feature game and his artistry. He loves to throw some Bill and Ted references in there, but he talks about that with the name of his gun before talking about having a game with death, which is something that they did in this movie. It's another fantastic showcase of Denzel's ability to flip his rhymes while also having a good, energetic flow underneath it all. You know, he matches the energy on Art of War with the rhyme bending and flipping that he had on Bruuuh and creates a cocktail of pure excellence, IMO. This list has actually been a little bit harder to make than the Kendrick and the Danny verses because Denzel just hits a pocket, he hits a stride, and he knows how to ride it. You know, yeah, his wordplay and his flow schemes are all things that are great to hear. It's kind of hard to eloquently put into words without saying, like, dude, he just hits a pocket, he hits a groove, he finds a stride and rides it. He's just got some good bars in there that matches the intensity of these two British artists on this smooth-ass beat.
Won't let him do me like Josh say. My mama say that I should pray cause demon comes in different shapes. Oh, got that straight rats on my...
But what I like about the Bald remix is that Denzel gets to just keep going. When you think he's done, he still has a whole nother thing in the pocket showing that he's still got gas left in the tank. You know, I love that he fits this minimal beat and he comes in across the various drops that the song gives him with just a little bit more intensity every single time. Like, I like how he comes in with the silence and the claps, and I feel like he fits that energy well. But there's a point in the part where he starts talking about his reflection and talking about rapping from a perspective that can be hard for some people to relate to. He's still deep in the pocket, but you can tell he's getting even more earnest and honest in his reflections. And it feels very similar to his headspace he's in on his latest record, and I feel like this Bald remix almost acts as a good sort of catalyst for where he would take his sound in the coming couple of years. You know, I really enjoy this remix, and I think that Denzel, similarly to Bruuuh, comes in, channels the energy, and kills it fantastically, but in a way that embodies what made his most recent album that much more rewarding as a listener. I love this track, but I also love this remix tenfold, and I think that he and Peggy are a great chemistry, or are a great pairing, similarly to Slow Time with JID, but in a different fashion than those other two. He has that heat, but he delves in a lot of honesty and retrospection that I think is well harnessed.
Tragedy all over the screen like William Shakespeare plays. Disease, degrade, increase, grenades, disease.
And he takes that imagery, that storytelling, all of that heat that I've talked about, and some of the references to being, you know, having problems with the police that have cropped him some of those features, and channels it into this raw, thematic, excellent verse on Pig's Feet. The production on the track is very lush or dense. There's a lot to it, but Denzel fits in that pocket so perfectly. You know, his images of helicopters circling around him, police harassing him constantly, you know, talking about the stuff that he's seen in the streets in tandem with his problems with the police. Incredible. Talking about the tragedy of it all, not just in the gang violence, police brutality, you know, the holdups, the rampant disease, lack of supportive healthcare in urban or underdeveloped neighborhoods. You know, the overall mistreatment of black people, the black community as a whole, in a systemic way, in a really good verse. I feel like it's got a lot of the heat and energy I love from Denzel, but with a lot more of a poignant, sharp message that he delivers eloquently on Pig's Feet. I love this track, and I think that Denzel absolutely crushes it.
At the same time, I plan my suicide. Literally, I would live lonely inside. On the physical side, all my miracles die.
Now, after seeing the last entry with Terrace Martin and now with the Avalanches, you may be wondering why I didn't put the Fly Low contribution of Black Balloons on here, or any other Fly Low contributions that him and Denzel have spun together. And it's mostly because, similarly to Attack by Rusty, those feel like tracks produced by that artist, specifically for that artist. Whereas Take Care in Your Dream and Terrace Martin feel like they've got something else bigger in store. You know, there's a collaborative effort across multiple artists. And on Take Care in Your Dream, Denzel, kind of also similarly to the Bald remix, lays out what I feel like the groundwork of Melt Your Eyes became by going through this chronological detailing of his headspace throughout his career thus far. And I feel like not only is it a great way to tell a story by each year chronicling and counting up, similarly to LP's verse on The Last Huzzah, but I feel like doing it in this manner also really lets Denzel get to the nitty-gritty of his loneliness, of his isolation, of his frustration, of being swept up in it all. And it's an incredible tune. I feel like it's a really, really good stretch that talks about the death that he's seen, the success that he's seen, but the sadness and loneliness that can continue to be cemented throughout this success. It's a really, really strong verse from Denzel that I think, again, embodies everything I've praised up to this point, while also isolating it in this storytelling style that I feel like Denzel should do more of. He's great at setting a scene, he's great at painting a picture, and he's really good at his reference play, but the rhymes here and the bars all hit in a caliber that just feels like that much more above everything else I've talked about. You know, while everything I've talked about has fallen in the same realms of he gets hype, he hits a pocket, he carries a groove, he's got bars. This has all of that, but similarly to Pig's Feet, feels purposeful. It feels like it's got a real theme it wants to lay into, and Denzel channels it harmoniously. And I would say if it's not my favorite, it is one of my favorite Denzel Curry features, bar none. And that's my list. What did you think about it? Did you like it? Did you not? What are some of your favorite Denzel Curry features? Let me know in the comments down below. If you did like this video, be sure to give it a like. If you want to see more of my music, gaming, and general nerdery content, be sure to subscribe. Special thanks to my patrons. If you want to join the ranks to get early access to content, exclusive content, or to help drive the community through polls, it's linked in the description. My playlist, which is a companion to this video, it's all about Denzel. It's called The Chronicles of Z. It's basically my theoretical playlist if they made a Def Jam sequel where the story is Denzel's rise into hip-hop. It's got a sort of chronological order to it, similarly to the Take Care in Your Dreaming verse. I think it's a really fun playlist, and if that sounds like it's up your alley, it's linked on my Patreon, which is linked in the description. I'm going to get out of here, though. Thank you again so very much for watching. I've been Viral Rack. You guys have good days, lives, and situations, and I'll see you another day.